So I'm watching the NBA playoffs last night. I watched the Knights too. We'll get to that in a second. But it's always fun to watch a Game 7. Yes, it's not the same when you don't have the crowd in there and the pressure and all that stuff. You know, it's weird. But listen, Utah Jazz, Denver Nuggets, right? Utah Jazz were up 3-1. This series was supposed to be over. And you have Donovan Mitchell and Conley, two guys on the Utah Jazz that are max contract players. They are making upwards of $30 million a year, which is, by the way, absurd because I don't think either of them deserve it. But that's another story. They're both very good players. But anyway, very tight game down the stretch, and we learned that there were two people. I misspoke. I said $1 million bet. There were two bets of upwards of $500,000 each. Both had the money line Denver. Now, for those of you that don't gamble, here's what that means. It means you're not betting on a point spread. You're just betting that Denver will win the game. Well, this game was nuts. Let me explain. Denver is up 2 points with 12 seconds to go. Utah has the ball. They miss a shot. Denver rebounds, and all they have to do is dribble it out, and Utah's going to foul them. Instead, they do what will drive a basketball coach nuts. The last thing you're supposed to do is drive to the basket and shoot the ball. Now, take it was pretty much an uncontested layup, but a player on Denver misses a layup with like 10 seconds to go, giving Utah an opportunity to either tie or win the game. They're down 2. So imagine having $500,000 on this game, knowing that Denver just effed up. And they didn't hold the basketball to get fouled because at least if they make 1 out of 2 free throws, you can't lose. It goes to overtime, right? So Utah's dribbling the ball. It must have been the longest 8 seconds of these two gamblers, their lives. You see Mike Conley dribbling the ball up the floor. You know, I'd be saying, don't shoot a 3, please, don't shoot a 3. Conley has a great look at a 3 with like 1 second left to go. I swear to you, I'm watching it live with our friend Chris Wynn. And when it left his hands in a Game 7 buzzer beater, I thought it was good. The second it left his hands, I'm like, because, I'm a basketball aficionado. Usually you can tell when a ball leaves someone's hands, usually if it's good or not. It was inside the hoop. I'm not even exaggerating. The basketball somehow spun around the toilet bowl. It was literally in the hoop. I'm not exaggerating. Watch the replay. Somehow it spins out. And end of the game. If it goes in, Utah wins, and these two bettors that bet over $500,000 would have lost. Instead, and by the way, it would have been talked about forever because one of Denver's players, I'm forgetting his name, missed a layup.
Was it Jamal Murray?
No, it wasn't Murray. Murray had a fantastic game.
Murray can play, man.
Okay, but
he had 50 the game before.
But here's something else that I want to talk about, and it is the fact that you have these max players again. Max players on the Utah Jazz like Donovan Mitchell, who turns the ball.
No, he's not max. He's a second-year guy.
He's making $30 million a year.
Is Mitchell? I don't think. I know Conley is. Conley's making $30 million a year.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think Mitchell is.
We can look that up, but I'm pretty sure Mitchell's a max player also.
No,
but anyway, with that being said, Mitchell, who is an all-star, turns the ball over with 14 seconds left to go. So these guys. One bettor at William Hill reported he bet $550,000 to win $500,000 at minus 110 odds. That bet came in. Another player at BetMGM reported a wager of $500,000 on the Nuggets at minus 110. That paid $450,000. Can you imagine if somebody had a camera? Now listen, if you're betting $500,000 on a game, I'm sure I'm going to imagine you're probably worth a lot of money. So maybe $500,000 isn't a lot to that person, but I doubt it. It's still $500,000. That's a lot of dinners, okay? I can just, by the way, 4 years, $16 million a year. I was a little bit wrong on Mitchell's contract.
He's making $3.5.
Okay,
he's making rookie contract. He's still in his first contract.
That's still a lot of money. Yeah. He's making $16 million a year. And
$3.5 million a year.
Oh, it's $3.5 million.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 4-year deal for $16 million. Okay, so I digress. I was wrong on that one. But yes, Connolly, who took that 3, is on a max deal. He's making.
He is.
That's why I got confused. And by the way, that is absurd. I don't think Connolly is worth half that. He's a very good player.
Well, all those players signed for huge contracts.
I know.
And you know why? Because of the China deal, and it inflated the salary cap.
Well, I'm just speaking basketball terms right
Timothy Mozgov signed for like $95 million for 5 years to the Lakers.
Well, that might be true, but I'm just speaking from the gambling.
The Cavs.
I'm just speaking from the gambling terms of what took place last night, and I can just imagine if you had a camera on those two faces when that ball is in the air and it's $1 million swing. I just can't even imagine what that was going through. But hey, congratulations to those two bettors. I'm not going to say it was a good bet because it could have gone either way, and it was quite the gamble. It wasn't a